After 5 years of zero regulations and a wild, Wild West atmosphere on public land, it is finally Judgment Day for San Diego street vendors.
I think it's a good thing, actually. You know, it makes it fair for everyone. I guess there's a way to get a permit and makes it fair, but it makes it fair to the people that have to pay for the farmers market. They actually have to pay, it's not much of a fee, but it just makes it more organized and stuff like that. And
yeah.
At least maybe our grass will grow back if they stay off it for a little bit.
This is the scene this morning in Ocean Beach, day one of enforcement along the coast of San Diego. The park rangers are actually giving out the tickets, but the police were called in just in case things got crazy. But they didn't.
What happens out here is these guys end up fighting over territory, so then it becomes another issue with the police and all that. So it's not fun for them to show up when two guys are fighting over who's going to sell their beads or patches in what spot, you know.
It may be a tough pill to swallow for hundreds of street vendors, but for the past 5 years, it has been a virtual free-for-all with unlicensed vendors taking over beaches and parks. Now, each one is required to have a business permit, pay taxes, and food vendors will also need a health permit. They also have to play by the same rules as every other business owner.
We've seen the rangers here twice, and police were here. I hope they're going to make the same effort they made in Balboa Park, where, they cleaned up the majority of the mess.
As the timing would have it, day one of enforcement is also Farmers Market Day in Ocean Beach. This is usually the day when dozens of vendors are set up on the grass and the boardwalk. For the first time in a long time, much of the park space is open, instead of the unregulated open-air market competing with a very regulated farmers market up the street.
It's cleaning up out here. I think it is, finally. After, we always want the OB vibe, but, it was getting a little funky for a while. And a weird funky, not a good funky. We don't want that weird funky. We want OB funky.
For a lot of street vendors, this is clearly not a welcome development. They've enjoyed a great deal of freedom and zero regulations ever since Governor Jerry Brown decriminalized street vending in 2018. But even now that the city has finally set regulations, some of these vendors are resisting the license requirement. They say they don't need one because they are artists protected by the First Amendment.
I am exercising my First Amendment right. With that said, I'm only allowed to take donations, no minimum, no maximum.
So you're really a vendor, but you're doing the First Amendment thing. So do you have a license, sir?
I do not. I am, again, protected under the First Amendment. That's my license.
Okay, so you're not going to buy a license?
Don't need one. I had it codified.
Yeah.
Like, I actually went to the city and they codified my protections.
So one of the vendors actually handed me this plastic-coated card, and it has the section that he is talking about in this particular ordinance. And essentially what it says, and this is part of the vending ordinance, essentially what it says is the following persons, entities, or activities will be exempt from this particular law. Any vendor, individual engaged solely in artistic performance, free speech, political or petitioning activities, or engaged solely in vending items constituting expressive activity will be exempt. And as you can see, there's a lot of expressive activity going on out here, and that's why these particular vendors stuck around all day. Now, when the rangers come back tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, who knows? Things might change. But right now, some of these vendors are protected under this particular clause of the ordinance. Only time will tell. We're in OB. Dan Plant, KUSI News.